I am excited. It is that very special time of year where the colors are changing. It is moving towards fall, but the weather is still absolutely beautiful. And I had to rush out and get out here for a few days. At this time of year, you never know how many trips you have left before the season quickly ends on you. So I gotta make the most of it. So camp is all set up. The sun is just kind of setting behind the trees here, and I've got this lovely secluded corner of this lake all to myself, and I couldn't be any happier about it. I got my lucky orange buff on, which of course I always have, but today it has a little bit of extra meaning. It is September 30th, and in Canada that is the National Day for Truth and Reconciliation, and it's a day of acknowledgement where we recognize the terrible, terrible things that were committed against the indigenous peoples of this country in our attempt to subjugate and colonize them culturally, sending them to residential schools and subjecting them to terrible, terrible experiences. And we have a lot of work in this country to go to rectify the damages that we've done. And having this day is just a one step towards that, you know, and we wear orange to commemorate that, you know. I thought it was particularly salient today because I'm paddling on the land, and on this lake that I've just been paddling on, you know, you see evidence of the cultural history of this region, right? I saw pictographs on a rock wall not 2 hours ago, and it's just a reminder that, you know, these people were here for a very, very long time before settler peoples, and those people took care of this land before we did. And I think we can learn a lot from what they did. Oh! It is dead calm right now. It's pretty much a new moon in the next day or two, and I think it should be hopefully clear tonight, so fingers crossed, some really good stars if I stay awake for them. Not much to say this morning other than just excited to get on the water. It looks like it's going to be a beautiful, beautiful day. There was a mist coming up over the lake, covering everything when I woke up, and now the sun is burning it off. It is glass calm, perfect paddling conditions. So packing up camp, finishing breakfast, getting ready to get moving. I haven't seen a moose in a while. This would be a good trip, and this particular route today will offer a good chance to see one, hopefully. Passes through some smaller lakes and a number of creek river sections like this with sort of the tall sedge grass like this. So, you know, fingers crossed, it'll be a lucky day for wildlife. Saw a couple bald eagles this morning. Hopefully that's a good start to the day. Sadly, I did not see any exciting wildlife. No moose, no bears, no wolves or lynxes, you know? Just a few ducks. But I made it to this really, really nice campsite on this point, on this beautiful lake that I have all to myself. And it's ringed with lovely maple all around the hills, and they're in really nice fall colors. So I am very, very happy. October 1st, it's brisk. It's on and off raining pretty heavy now, and on and off getting pretty windy, and it's getting cooler, so I'm happy to report that I'm swinging in the hammock tucked into the sleeping bag and couldn't be any more comfortable right now. Great day, early night, catch in the morning. Spread and wash down with some coffee. That is the flavor of a relaxing camp morning. sometimes you just have to pull through these little sections like this because it's too tight to maneuver without smacking the banks, and you can't really get a good paddle stroke because it's too shallow. And then you have the odd beaver dam. Just looking for the next portage here. It is a lovely fall day. Probably 14 degrees. Sunny though, so still can wear a t-shirt. But it has that bite. Crispy. Just goes to show you gotta watch your footing on those wet leaves. Happens to the best of us. Did I mention it rained last night? What a special spot to have lunch, you know? As I sit up on this beautiful rock, it gives me a chance to see both the macro and the micro of this amazing sort of forest ecosystem. I've got this great vista, this expansive lake in front of me, and it's given rise to this observation that I've had in the past before, which is that these structures of nature, these shapes, tend to repeat themselves. The mosses, the lichens, the shape of them, it reminds me a lot of coral and coral polyps. And in some ways, these kind of things serve the same sort of function. They're sort of fundamental to their ecosystems. They support life, provide shelter for a lot of the smaller critters. I think it's pretty cool. And I haven't yet written my monograph on it that, you know, somehow will explain how all of these structures can be reduced down to one basic fundamental structure that connects everything in the universe and unites both quantum mechanics and general relativity theory and gives us this grand unified theory of physics and all of life. But I am working on it. When you trip by yourself on canoe trips, you have a lot of time to think. Is it productive? Who can say? when that sun is out, it is so nice. But when it dips behind the clouds and that north wind is blowing, whoo, a little chilly, but all good. You want my pistachios, don't you? Just like that, the sun has gone down, which means it is time to get a fire going. It is going to be chilly. Well, that was a performance. I banged out that 3K portage in 34 minutes flat. I don't usually time my portages, but I thought, hey, let's just give it a go. I'm single carrying, I was feeling energized. Let's see what we got. And I absolutely smashed that. Had a few things going in my favor. I was energized after breakfast. It was early in the day. I had the charge from my apple. The weather was cool, so it was good, not too hot. And I didn't fall and slip this time and land on my ass from wet leaves. All of those things, plus heading downhill a bit, conspired to give me a near record-breaking time in the age 35 plus category on the Louisa Lake to Rock Lake portage. Another great trip out, hopefully not the last trip of the season. Thanks as always for watching, and we'll catch you on the next one. Peace.